Went back to New Jersey that evening. He was on the plane joking with all of us on the plane to make us feel, I mean, we were all, to this moment, to this day, and none of us will ever forget it. He cared about all of us on the plane, trying to make us all feel better and lift us up. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your 47th President of the United States of America. I have hundreds of stories I could share with you. Let's talk about in Pennsylvania, when he got excited to go work at McDonald's, because that's where Kamala claimed to have worked. For 2 weeks, we heard about going to work at McDonald's. He was excited to go do it. And sure enough, you all saw in those viral videos and on the news, he was at McDonald's having a good time with that French fryer and the people driving through. I'll never forget that moment when we pulled in with thousands of people lining the streets. That was the night he also went to the Pittsburgh Steelers game. But the guy couldn't wait to get to McDonald's, and he knew that it was a big moment for us. And it was pretty damn awesome, was it not? McDonald's. Joe Biden, you guys are all garbage. Trump supporters are garbage. Oh, really, Joe? Garbage. We're going to Wisconsin. And the team, Justin Caparelli, give him a lot of credit with regards to being on the plane. We're heading out to Wisconsin, and he comes up and he says, Mr. President, we can have a garbage truck upon arrival on the tarmac. I mean, what a campaign. What a campaign. Oh, sir, and by the way, before we went wheels up, I have an orange vest for you to wear. If you want to wear it, you go wear it off the plane. Give me that vest. Let's put that vest on. He puts the vest on the plane. We're still flying. He's being brief. We're going to land. There's going to be a garbage truck upon our arrival. It's going to say Trump 2024 on it. And sure enough, an hour and a half, 2 hours later, we land the plane. We look out the window, and there's the garbage truck being escorted to the motorcade. And there's the president sitting with his orange vest on, just looking out the window like this. I mean, just total classic and priceless. He gets off the plane, he wears the vest into the garbage truck, right? Great moment. But then he wore it in the motorcade to the rally. Then we get to the rally, he meets Brett Favre, who endorsed him. Backstage, taking photos and clicks, laughs, good times, he's getting ready. We're feeling good because this election's coming up. Where's the garbage vest? Out onto the stage. I don't know if you heard the stories of why he wore it, but he thought he looked rather trim in it. And then so he's sitting, looking in the mirror. I look rather thin in this. I look very trim, I look good. He wears the orange vest out. Hour and a half rally, comes off stage, walks back out. Time to get in the motorcade to go back to the plane, right? You take the vest off, right? He wears the orange vest into the motorcade. He said, I'm not taking this off till we get on the plane. He kept the vest on the entire time. That was a big moment for us when we were all garbage. It was like that deplorable moment. We're all sitting backstage saying, here's the moment. I could go on all day, but I don't have that much time left. We're very grateful for you. There's so many times that the president is just so grateful for the support he sees out there on social media. I mean, we won the election in an electoral landslide, swept all 7 swing states. And we not only have the 45th president and the 47th president of the United States, we got a great president who's going to put all of you first. He's going to fight, 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 and he's going to continue. And his legacy will go down as one of the greatest presidents of all time. And together, everybody in this room, with your support, we're going to make America great again. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Wyoming, Congresswoman Hageman.
I bring you greetings from the great state of Wyoming, home of an abundance of affordable and reliable energy, wildlife galore, wide open spaces, gorgeous rivers and streams, magnificent mountains, beautiful blue skies, and not one Liz Cheney anywhere to be found. In 2024, Wyoming provided President Trump with his largest margin of victory of any state in the nation, and we are so proud of the job that he is doing. We are ecstatic that he is exposing and eradicating the massive government waste, fraud, and abuse that we have known for decades has been happening, and yet no one before would do anything about it. We are overjoyed that he has tasked Elon Musk and his team with overseeing DOGE, using their skills to implement what may be the closest thing to zero-based budgeting that we will ever see in the federal government. We are thrilled that he recognizes that we are a government of, by, and for the people, and that its primary purpose is to protect the homeland and secure our God-given rights and freedoms. It is quite apparent that the Democrats long ago stopped caring about the concerns of working class people, the truck drivers, farmers, airline employees, miners, custodians, and construction workers, among others. And they paid for such neglect by being shellacked in the last election. But far be it for them to undertake a legitimate self-assessment of their policies and ideas. They are instead engaging in kabuki theater while standing in front of government agencies, screaming their opposition to everything good and just generally making fools of themselves. The agencies that they have chosen for their performance art are telling, are they not? The Department of Education, a $270 billion woke monstrosity that has presided over the steady and unrelenting decline of public education. And USAID, a $50 billion anti-American purveyor of ideology so toxic that even the bureaucrats who work there knew they had to hide their programs so that they could continue to fund such things as transgender comic books in Peru, so-called sex change operations in Guatemala, and anti-Israeli rappers. By now, everyone has heard about the crazy things USAID and other bloated and unnecessary bureaucracies have spent our money on, and we are rightly infuriated. But there is more to this story than bureaucrats and leftists attempting to out-crazy each other, and it is critical that we understand the full picture, in part to ensure accountability, but to also understand how these actions, this overwhelming misdirection of assets, this radical anti-humanist agenda has weakened us here at home and allowed our so-called political leaders to ignore their primary responsibility to our citizens. In short, this obsession with pushing the woke agenda has real-world consequences and has caused real-life suffering. The way that I often describe it is that a government that does things that it should not be doing becomes incapable of doing those things that it should. What we can describe as the social and economic reality of opportunity costs. And it is this phenomena that I, as the chairwoman of the House Anti-Woke Caucus, want to make sure people understand. We are not just dealing with stupid comic books and radical anti-American leftist policies. We are also dealing with an obsession that has become so all-consuming to those on the other side that the toll in human suffering and property destruction cannot be ignored. As a devastating example, let's look at the recent California wildfires. The cause and magnitude of those fires cannot be written off as an act of nature, because that is not what happened. Rather, a substantial number of fires in California are started by arsonists and homeless encampments, and that appears to be the case in terms of this recent conflagration. Even setting aside the cause of the fires, however, this catastrophe was years in the making, with resource management, overregulation, and failed water policies all finding their roots in a fixation on climate change and global warming. Ah, yes, with Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass deciding that the threat of a 1 to 2 degree change in temperatures 100 years from now warrants whatever suffering we may come about today. Let's start with the radical environmentalist decisions for the last several decades to fight every effort to undertake proper, effective, and safe forest and range management practices and to implement better fire protection policies. In fact, one such organization fought to block a wildfire prevention project near the Pacific Palisades to protect a shrub called the Broughton's milkvetch. We can thank this group for their efforts to protect this shrub, although such protections were clearly only transitory since they also burned in the November fires. But this is not an isolated situation, and we have watched it play out year after year in Western states, as the so-called experts and environmentalists would rather our forests, our prairies, and our homes burn to the ground than allow us to implement common sense and much-needed treatment techniques to prevent these catastrophes from happening in the first place. Did you know that in 2020, Gavin Newsom vetoed a fire mitigation bill that had been passed by both houses of the Democrat-controlled California legislature? That bill provided funding for vegetation management to maintain defensible space around structures, reduce flammable material, reduce fire risk, and harden evacuation routes. In his veto message, Governor Newsom exposed his moral corruption by stating that any efforts to fireproof California could not take precedence over his plan to replace single-family homes with affordable housing and multifamily units. I could spend hours regaling you with the many ways in which radical environmentalism and the fear-mongering surrounding our ever-changing and healthy climate has destroyed our natural and human environment, but I think you get the gist. In short, in the name of climate change, in the name of our environment, and in an effort to burnish their elitist bona fides, these people have largely destroyed the very things that they claim to hold dear, with their policies and actions being responsible for spewing more carbon and pollutants into the atmosphere than our collective humanity could in hundreds of years. And that is why we must expose them for the frauds that they are. Charlatans who prove time and time again that they know nothing about the environment, climate, resource management, how to build strong, vibrant, and resilient communities, or human nature. But like so many dictators before them, believe that they are the experts who are entitled to micromanage our lives, mandate and restrict our mode of travel, control our food supply, and shove us into 15-minute cities and multifamily homes. Now, it is often easy to make fun of people like Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, Kamala Harris, Al Gore, John Kerry, and others, but these people have caused and will continue to cause real human suffering unless we stop them. And one tool that we have is to expose the true cost of their woke ideology. But it isn't just failed environmental policies that are to blame. We must also call out the entire DEI industry as being one of the many culprits resulting in the death and destruction that we have suffered. First, as I mentioned earlier, California's wildfire problem is largely man-made, with the homeless population and arsonists being responsible for well over 50% of all of the fires. All in the name of being equitable and inclusive, you see, personal and community responsibility are relics of the past when it comes to modern-day California. And nothing epitomizes that more than in allowing the homeless to literally run your cities into the ground and, when they so choose, to burn them down. Second, DEI is not only insidious because of what it means in practice, but in the fact that it allows politicians and bureaucrats to divert our precious resources from where they should be focused to pet projects that have nothing to do with carrying out the functions of government. The stories from California are legion, of millions of dollars being spent on DEI workshops and training, of hiring based on race, sex, sexual orientation, and intersectionality, rather than on whether the individual could physically do the job. And the outcome? Empty reservoirs, broken down fire trucks, air-sucking fire hydrants, no evacuation routes, and not enough firefighters. DEI is a disastrous concept in theory and wholly destructive in practice. It undermines faith in our institutions and allows unelected and unaccountable bureaucrats to redirect hundreds of billions of dollars into programs that we don't want, don't need, and that ultimately destroy everything that we hold dear. Fortunately, we now have a political leader in President Trump who understands how destructive these environmental policies have been to our communities and how insidious DEI policies are to our physical, mental, and financial well-being. Thank God, in other words, that we have finally awakened from this woke nightmare, and it is a new day in America. God bless Cpac, God bless President Trump, God bless our warriors who are fighting on behalf of all of us, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions are switching to Newsmax. It's the fastest growing streaming service in America. You don't need those woke streaming services anymore. Just get Newsmax Plus. Watch the best shows like Greg Kelly, Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, and Rob Finnerty.
Greg Kelly over at Newsmax. The Newsmax people have been really terrific.
Gain access to exclusive documentaries, series, and special briefings. It's free to start. So go to NewsmaxPlus.com now to sign up and watch Newsmax anytime, anywhere.
Welcome to Cpac. At Great American Media, we celebrate what matters most: faith, family, and country. Today, we invite you to experience storytelling that uplifts, inspires, and reflects the values we all cherish. PureFlix is your home for entertainment without compromise. With faith-driven movies and series, we bring you stories that strengthen hearts, uplift spirits, and honor what truly matters. And on Great American Family, where faith leads, where stories inspire. Welcome home. Whether it's Christmas all year long, heartfelt romances, or movies that bring families together, we are here to make you feel at home. At Great American Media, our foundation is quality. Our promise is to always deliver entertainment that aligns with your faith and values. Thank you for standing with us as we stand for faith, family, and country. Enjoy Cpac. And remember, when you choose Great American Media, you choose entertainment that lifts you up. Join us and experience the best in faith and family entertainment.
Hello, I'm Jim Paff, president of the Conservative Caucus. The Conservative Caucus has been winning battles in Congress for all 50 years of its existence. In fact, we're the oldest conservative grassroots organization in America. We helped re-elect President Trump and win the Senate. And with your help, we will continue to advance President Trump's MAGA agenda. Join the team to help Trump make America great again. Go to theconservativecaucus.org and sign up now.
Institution today is under attack. The home, the church, the government. And many people are asking, what is the truth? Jesus Christ claimed the ultimate truth. Are you willing to face the truth?
Do you think the MKUltra project ever actually ended?
The Central Intelligence Agency is actively involved in mind manipulation.
We all answer to one God and one Savior, and He's there to change your life for the better.
an interview with Governor of Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, hosted by Cpac Senior Fellow, Mercedes Schlapp.
Thank you. Oh, come on, your favorite governor, let's go. Okay, we're waking up here. All right, I think Governor Sanders, Sarah, Sarita, my sweet Sarah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have Sarah with us. We are in countdown mode right now because guess who's coming? Who's gonna close out Cpac?
I mean, just a slightly well-known individual, maybe the most popular human on the face of the planet right now. So, America's favorite president.
That's right, President Trump. Are you all excited? So this is such a blessing for me. Sarah and I worked together at the White House for several years, and I mean, Sarah, seriously, what you have accomplished is amazing. And we're so proud of you. Thank you. Just to start right there. We were trying to raise our kids during that time.
Trying being the key word there. We were trying to raise our kids, and somehow they turned out amazing.
Yeah. Which says a lot, really, truly. They were all in the backstage. Sarah brought her daughter Scarlett with my girls, and they were doing the whole posing of taking pictures together. We were like, this is the next generation of leadership, seriously. But let's get to it. Okay, so you were at the National Governors Association dinner, and President Trump had this interesting exchange with the governor from Maine. We're all in the family here. Tell us what happened.
Well, I think it was classic Donald Trump. If he doesn't like something, he's gonna call it out. I think it's one of the things that has made him so incredibly popular. And one of the reasons he's been able to get so much done is because he doesn't care who's in the room, what it looks like. He's gonna tell you exactly what he thinks in that moment. And that's what he did. And frankly, he's on the right side. I'm so tired of hearing the left say that they care about women when they can't even tell you what a woman is. And we finally have a president who will stand up for women and fight back. And I think that it's a great thing to see Donald Trump being the one to sign executive orders that defend and define what a man and what a woman are, which it's sad that we have to do that, but also as a mom of a daughter that is a 12-year-old volleyball player, that we have somebody that's saying, no, we're not gonna let men play girls' sports. And Donald Trump is doing that, and I think he's right to call people out who are on the wrong side.
So we have a rating system that we rate at Cpac, all the state legislatures, all the governors, all the federal legislators as well. Governor Sanders has ranked the top conservative governor in America. The top, #1. And I know partly is because we're related, but no. But Sarah, tell us about, you're in the middle of the legislative session. You have so much going on. You've been in office now. And what are you planning to accomplish this legislative session? What do you think the people of Arkansas really want and what they're focused on?
We're working on that, and the President Trump is very quick to remind us on that every time I see him. But what we've really focused on is bringing conservative principles back, and everything from opening up universal school choice. We were one of the first states in the country to do that. Starting next semester, every single student in Arkansas will be able to choose where they go to school, and their parents will be empowered to make that decision. And I'm really proud we were one of the leaders of that. We've cut taxes 3 times in the state of Arkansas in just 2 years, now making us competitive with every other state in the region. We are getting indoctrination not just out of our K through 12, but also out of higher education. And we don't care if you're tenured or not. That is one of the big pieces of legislation that we have going through this cycle. We're also removing cell phones from the classroom, and I signed legislation this week. Bell to bell, no cell, and really proud of what we're doing for young people, for parents, for families, and we're going to continue fighting and making Arkansas the most conservative state in the country.
And people are moving in. It is becoming a popular destination. I mean, walk us through why your state, and you know, we always talk about these federal elections, and obviously having President Trump in office is such a critical win. But these states are just as critical as well, because we meet people from California who talk about how horrific it is to live under Democrat oppression. Let's just call it what it is. And here we have a perfect example of what you're doing in Arkansas to be that blueprint for other states. What's your advice to other governors, especially Republican governors, that are trying to do the same? And we talk about conservative principles, but these are American principles of being pro-family, pro-economic prosperity, pro-safety.
Well, one of the big differences now is we actually have a partner in the White House instead of somebody we have to fight every single day. I got to see Lee Zeldin yesterday. He's the new head of the EPA. I said, I'm just glad we have somebody there that we don't have to sue every single week, and we can actually work with to get things done. You know, over the last several years, Republican governors are the ones who have held the line. While Washington was a completely broken, dysfunctional mess, Republican governors are the ones who stepped up and worked on securing the border. We sent Arkansas Guard to the border 2 separate occasions over the last couple of years because Joe Biden wouldn't get the job done. Now we have a partner in Donald Trump who's not going to just be a partner, but he's going to be a leader. He's going to be the #1 fighter, pushing back on some of the crazy wokeness that we have seen the left try to impose on our families, on our schools, on our businesses. And Republican governors are going to be right there with him. We're going to make sure that our schools do not become indoctrination factories for the left. We're going to make sure that you can run your business the way that you want to, and that you can raise your kids the way that you want to, as it was intended in this country. And I'm proud of the work we've been able to do. Arkansas is now the #1 state in the country that people are moving to. It's not Texas, it's not Florida, it's not Virginia, it's Arkansas. So if you don't live there yet, we're ready for you to move and call that your home. We're the #1 state for economic growth. We're the lowest cost of living. We are booming on all fronts, and it's because we're implementing good conservative policy that lets you live your life without constant government intrusion. And that's something we're proud of and something we're going to continue to do in our home state.
Gosh, wouldn't she make a great vice presidential pick in 2028? I think so. I do. I do. Sorry, Sarah, you don't have to respond to that. Okay.
I'm not. Very happy to be in Arkansas.
Okay. Maternal health, you're providing funding. I really want you to talk about this problem this crisis you discovered in your state, how you're solving it, because it's not only impacting states like Arkansas, but other states as well in the South. Walk us through what you're doing there.
You know, one of the things that I think is so important for the pro-life community is that we don't just focus on the baby when they're in the womb, but it's what does that look like after, and making sure that we are actually fighting for kids every single day. And that's something that's really important in our state. We had about 10% of moms in Arkansas that were never seeing a doctor until they were in labor. That's unacceptable, especially when they have that access to care. They just weren't taking advantage of it. We know that healthy moms make healthy babies, so we've invested heavily in making sure that those women get the care that they not only need and deserve, but they know that their life and their child's life has value. And it's something that we want to protect at every single stage, and so we're investing heavily in the maternal health problem in Arkansas, and something that we're going to expect to see a dramatic impact and dramatic results just in a short amount of time.
So we've seen President Trump right now, where he's been in office for 32 days. It feels like it's been like 10 years that he's been in office. It's so remarkable to watch the amount of work he's been able to accomplish. Now, as us, the Trump 45ers, is that what we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes us sound older than we are.
Makes us sound so old. Help me figure out here. Like, I'm watching this and going, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. It is so different from what our experience was at the time. Give us that comparison of what you're seeing, and also what advice you're giving to this next administration right now.
Look, I can't say enough good things about the president and his team and what they're doing. You know, we used to joke that you aged in dog years during the first administration because it was like 7 at a time. And so
we haven't aged, not a bit.
Well, we didn't, but it was the most intense, most, I think, polarizing, difficult time that we've seen probably in political history in a very long time during Trump's first administration. Nobody expected him to win. And when he did, they weren't happy that he was here. Then they saw what life was like under a Trump administration, and they had a chance to see what life was like without Trump in the White House, and they didn't like it very much. And so now that he's back, people want to see him doing exactly what he talked about on the campaign trail. They want a strong economy. They want somebody who will secure the border. They want somebody who's going to take China on. He was the first president in my lifetime that actually called China out and is holding their feet to the fire. I was the first governor in the country to kick China out of our state, off of our farmland, and impose a fine on them. We know that's popular. And it was because of Donald Trump that we were empowered to take those type of strong actions. We have a president who's going to make our allies actually respect us and our enemies fear us. It's a total opposite of what we saw over the course of the last 4 years. You know, you joke at the speed of which Trump is moving. They always have heard the moniker that we wish that government could move at the speed of business. Well, he's redefining that all over again. There's the speed of government, there's the speed of business, and now there's the speed of Trump, which is unlike anything I've ever seen. And he's doing so much so fast, they don't even know how or where to attack him this time. Yeah. And so I hope that he can keep up this pace. I've never seen anybody with the level of energy that he has. As you know well, it was not surprising that we could get a phone call from the president at midnight, 1 a.m., asking us to do a laundry list of things and then calling us back a couple of hours later at 4 or 5 in the morning and saying, "Did you get all that done?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." But he doesn't sleep. He doesn't expect anybody else to sleep either. And he has he's almost twice my age and he has twice my energy. But it's because he loves this country. And he did not need to run and take this job on, but America needed him to be willing to do it. And anyone else that would have gone through the level of intense criticism and the attacks, 2 assassination attempts on his life, would have given up. But this is a president who I think that only emboldens him more. The more they come after him, the stronger and tougher he gets, and the more he comes back ready to deliver for the American people. And I love getting to see him with this mandate and with this level of excitement for his presidency, because he deserved it the first time and he didn't get it. And now he's getting it and he's winning, and because he is, America's winning.
So I love always getting the insider information. So there would be times, this is so funny, we'd literally our first meeting was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I can't even remember. It was so early in the morning. We're half asleep, and before you know it, they'll be like, President Trump had tweeted something out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So we would all look at Sarah and we'd be like, "Okay, Sarah, this is what he said. What are our talking points?" I mean, that's how it was. I mean, it was so really learning on the job too. So now that you've transitioned from being, the president's spokesperson, the press secretary at the White House, into being the governor of a state, How does that feel? I mean, how is it so different?
You know, it's really different when you're the one sitting in the chair and it's your name on the paper to sign legislation or an executive order. There's a different weight and responsibility that comes with that. But I could not be more thankful for the experience that I had in the White House, because I learned so much from the president. One, never back down, never stop fighting, and always do what you think is right, and the rest of it works itself out pretty well. And that experience, I think, gave me such great perspective. And one of the most important things and takeaways was that I didn't need the outsiders to define me. In those moments, the most difficult days that we had in the White House, of which there were many, we didn't need the outside world to define us. We had a creator who had already done that, who had given my life meaning and purpose. Amen. And my job is to believe that and try to live up to the path that he laid for me. And if I do that, the rest of it, whether it's in the White House, my house, or the governor's mansion, gets really simple after that. And so proud of what we've been able to do, and glad that I got to do it alongside some of the most amazing people on the planet.
You're gonna make me cry. Sarah would get up every time we'd go into her office. She would have her scripture open every day. Every day. It's what guided you every day.
Otherwise, I'm not sure we would have survived.
I would agree. And I'd come in with my holy water, you know, the Protestant, the Catholic, we're all in it together, okay? So I just want to get this question in real quick, because, you know, Doge has been a phenomenon. It's been a phenomenon in the federal government, but you have like pre-Doge.
We started something we called Arkansas Forward. It was a project to go in, look at government efficiency, waste, fraud, and abuse. Just within the first 6 months, we've already identified at least $300 million in savings, which is big for Arkansas. Our budget's $6 billion. And so for us to identify that level of savings already that we're implementing, and some of it was as basic as getting rid of old phone and fax lines that haven't been in use in years. We will now save the state of Arkansas $1 million a year, just eliminating things like that. If we can do that on an Arkansas small state level, I can't imagine what they're going to continue to be able to uncover through Doge and the amount of savings and waste, fraud, and abuse they're going to be able to get rid of. It's an exciting thing to see.
So, Sarah, what inspires you every day?
My family. I have, my daughter's here, so I'll cry when I talk about my kids. I have the three most amazing kids, Scarlett, Huck, George. They're 12, 11, and 9. My husband is incredible. He has the patience of Job because he is married to me. And I know I'm not an easy personality, so...
You're easier than you think. You're wonderful to work with.
But I have an incredible family that loves me no matter what, and my kids are perfect reminders of everything that's at stake, everything that's matters and is important in the job that I do. And I don't mean the job as governor. While that is a big role and one I love and I'm proud and honored to have, there's no more important and bigger task that I have than being a mom. And so I take that really serious and trying to do the best I can to deliver for my kids.
So my call to action to you all is that you pray for Governor Sanders and her family, because it's really hard to raise a family, be in the public eye, and do the incredible work that you do. And what is your call to action to our Cpac family?
To keep fighting. Without you showing up and cheering and championing not just the people that are running for office, but more importantly, what they stand for. Find people who love this country as much as you do, support them with everything you can, and keep showing up, because it makes a difference. Because there are moments where you're running for office or you're in office and you think you're all by yourself and nobody is there. And so when you look out and you see a room of people like this who love America as much as you do, it is a great reminder to keep fighting and not to let the naysayers get you down. So keep showing up, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, we love our governor, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Tucked away in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Lynchburg, Virginia, you'll find us, Liberty University. Here, we pursue excellence in all of our academic endeavors, from anywhere. We fight for victory in our athletic programs and fan the flames with a mighty roar. We equip students with a Christ-centered perspective that changes lives. We are creators, problem solvers, and world changers. But above all of this, we are champions for Christ.
America is under attack. Our families are being crushed under the politics of a radical agenda. But moms have had enough. We are standing up and we are fighting back.
This is our battle. This battle is every bit as important as the Revolutionary War because we fight for the same thing.
Moms for America is a national movement of moms reclaiming our culture for truth, family, freedom, and the Constitution.
I think Moms for America is exactly on track and is doing the right thing for the future of our country and our children.
Like, Moms for America is going at the heart of the issue.
I want to go on the record and say I'm for moms, I'm for America, and I'm especially for Moms for America.
But I am honored to join Moms for America today as we speak out against the horrific mandates.
With a national network of over 500,000 mothers, Moms for America is one of the fastest growing movements of women in the country.
The most dangerous place in all of nature is between a mama bear and her baby cub.
We are the change. No matter what, no matter where, and no matter how difficult the obstacles are that are facing us and our families, we will not give up and we will not give in.
So if not now, then when? If not you, then who?
Welcome to the Momland Revolution.
The steal was stopped on Election Day, I think in no small part thanks to Judicial Watch's heavy lifting. In just the last year and a half or two, we've cleaned up 4 million dirty names from the rolls. We also got that huge Fifth Circuit ruling that found counting ballots received after Election Day is unlawful. You can be sure that all helped ensure cleaner elections on Election Day, but there's more work to be done, so be sure to support Judicial Watch's election integrity work.
Every institution today is under attack. The home, the church, the government. And many people are asking, what is the truth? Jesus Christ claimed the ultimate truth. Are you willing to face the truth?
Do you think the MKUltra project ever actually ended?
The Central Intelligence Agency is actively involved in mind manipulation.
We all answer to one God and one Savior, and He's there to change your life for the better.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of Argentina, Javier Milei.
Hola a todos. Es una gran alegría para mí estar nuevamente en los Estados Unidos y es un honor poder hablar ante todos ustedes hoy. Muchas gracias a los presentes y especialmente gracias a Cpac, que siempre ha tenido una consideración especial conmigo. Gracias, Matt. Gracias, Mercy. Hace apenas un mes dije en el foro de Davos que creo que estamos atravesando un punto de inflexión en nuestra historia. La historia transcurre en fases o etapas, momentos en donde el espíritu y la idea se materializa en una persona o en un grupo de personas, a veces cercana, a veces con kilómetros de distancia entre ellos, pero con un hilo conductor invisible que, si se pudiera observar, presumo sería muy similar a las imágenes que observamos de redes neuronales del cerebro humano. Hoy estamos precisamente en uno de esos momentos en los que la historia, con H mayúscula, está cambiando su curso. Estamos viendo en tiempo real el destino del mundo bifurcarse hacia un nuevo camino, distinto del lugar al que nos estaban llevando las élites y el establishment político de nuestros países. De la misma manera que en la década del 30 se podía vislumbrar que la llama de la libertad se estaba apagando y que comenzaba un nuevo cambio de servidumbre para la humanidad, hoy finalmente podemos decir que la era del Estado omnipresente ha terminado. Hoy somos testigos de un momento en el que la larga marcha del Estado sobre el individuo está llegando a su fin. Me refiero, por supuesto, al colapso del modelo colectivista y el amanecer de una nueva era de libertad. Nos hemos preparado para este momento y creo que genuinamente que estamos dando una batalla crucial para el futuro de la humanidad. Pero como siempre digo, solo se puede obrar de forma eficaz si el diagnóstico desde el que uno parte es el correcto. Hay que entender dónde estamos parados y a qué nos enfrentamos para poder saber cómo llegar a donde queremos. A lo largo de todo el mundo, las sociedades occidentales se enfrentan a un mismo problema y a un mismo enemigo: una clase política que extrae cada vez más recursos de los ciudadanos a través de impuestos, con el fin de implementar un modelo de expansión estatal ilimitada. Una clase política con complejo de Dios, que pretende regular cada aspecto de la vida de la gente, haciendo honor a una de las máximas del fascismo de Benito Mussolini: dentro del Estado todo, fuera del Estado nada y nada contra el Estado. Hemos llamado a esta clase política el Partido del Estado, una casta extendida cuyos miembros, más allá de diferencias superficiales, comparte la idea fundamental del avance del Estado sobre la sociedad. Son todos aquellos que, por interés económico o convicción ideológica, o incluso cierto idealismo ingenuo, trabajan para los intereses del Estado. Los medios de comunicación tradicionales o ligas y media, la oligarquía sindical, los empresarios prebendarios, los burócratas permanentes no electos y, en consecuencia, intrínsecamente irresponsables, las organizaciones mal llamadas no gubernamentales que hacen el trabajo sucio de los políticos, las instituciones académicas que proveen el marco teórico para la expansión estatal, los organismos supranacionales y todos los que de alguna manera pertenecen a la gran secta del colectivismo mundial. Y por supuesto, esto incluye a los partidos políticos tradicionales, que sin importar su color, coinciden en la tesis fundamental que más Estado siempre es mejor. En Argentina, por ejemplo, teníamos un sistema político compuesto por unas 50 sombras de socialismo. En Estados Unidos existía la ilusión de bipartidismo de un partido demócrata que marcaba la agenda y un partido republicano incapaz de enfrentarlo hasta la llegada del presidente Donald Trump. ¡Viva! Curiosamente, el mío lo van a tener que esperar hasta el final. Curiosamente, el presidente Trump es un outsider, igual que yo, Porque la tarea que tenemos por delante, el desafío que tenemos por delante, no es para políticos tradicionales que han vivido toda su vida del sistema. Es para gente que no le debe nada a nadie, que no está comprometida por los vicios del sistema y que sabe que es más importante el cambio que el poder por el poder mismo. En el establishment político de nuestras dos naciones existía una mentalidad más o menos explícita de que el avance del Estado equivalía a avance de la democracia, que cada conquista del Estado implicaba un acto de justicia social ante las supuestas injusticias de la libertad, que el rol del Estado era llevarnos a una utopía igualatoria mediante la creación sistemática de supuestos nuevos derechos que obviamente debían ser financiados por los pagadores de impuestos. Es justamente en el centro de este esquema que se encuentran los políticos, los principales beneficiarios de este modelo de expansión ilimitada del Estado, esos que hacen de vivir de otros por la fuerza un estilo de vida, depositarios de poderes y privilegios que serán la envidia de cualquier monarca de la historia. No importan las peleas televisivas ni las supuestas diferencias partidarias, todos trabajan para el mismo Dios, el siniestro, y su manifestación en la tierra, el leviatán del que hablaba Hobbes. Por eso, salvando algunas particularidades propias de cada nación, todos los que estamos aquí tenemos una misma misión: quitar el poder al partido del Estado y devolvérselo a la sociedad. Es decir, como decía Albert Nock, que describió en su libro En nuestro enemigo el Estado, que el poder social fue progresivamente arrebatado y trasladado al Estado por la fuerza. Nuestro objetivo es hacer el camino inverso, aumentar el poder del ciudadano y quitarle el poder al Estado. Por su... ¡Afuera! Me too. Sorry. She's my girlfriend. Por supuesto, no puede hacerse gestionando mejor el Estado tal cual existe o simplemente administrando correctamente los recursos de que dispone, sino que el único camino racional es achicar el Estado hasta su mínima expresión posible. Reducir el tamaño del Estado es en sí mismo un acto de justicia, porque cada erogación del Estado es una sustracción del pagador de impuestos. Desde nuestro punto de vista, el único Estado aceptable es el Estado más chico posible para devolverle al ciudadano lo que es suyo. Por eso, todas las atribuciones que no tengan que ver directamente con la protección de los tres derechos fundamentales, que son el derecho a la vida, a la libertad y a la propiedad privada, deben volver a su origen, los individuos asociados de forma voluntaria sin intromisión del Estado. Esto debe ser así porque, a diferencia de la economía, el poder es un juego de suma cero. Todo el poder que tenga el Estado necesariamente no puede obtenerlo al mismo tiempo la sociedad. Por eso no creemos en soluciones parciales o compromisos de centro. Sabemos que hacer las cosas a medias es una invitación al regreso del Estado, que como un cáncer metastásico solo sabe expandirse y debe ser obligado activamente a retroceder. No sirve intentar alcanzar un justo medio. Todo lo que exceda su función esencial debe ser definitivamente quitado de su órbita o más temprano que tarde volverá a usurpar lo que no le pertenece. Sabemos que no es una tarea fácil. El Estado moderno tiene herramientas de sobras que han crecido en sofisticación con el paso del tiempo. No estamos hablando de un Estado obvio como el fascista o el comunista, sino de un Estado sutil e insidioso que avanza sobre el individuo a través del arte, de la propaganda y la infiltración cultural. O al menos así era hasta hace poco, ya que le resulta cada vez más difícil disimular su carácter totalitario. Hemos visto, por citar solo un ejemplo, que en ciertos países de Europa ciudadanos están siendo arrestados por expresarse en redes sociales. Pero en términos más generales, hablo de la financiación de la academia, incentivando la elaboración de estudios que justifiquen la implementación de políticas públicas intervencionistas y de la compra encubierta de medios de comunicación mediante la pauta pública. Hablo de las múltiples ONGs que viven de nuestros impuestos, de los subsidios a la cultura para producir propaganda. Y aquí en Estados Unidos, por supuesto, el escándalo de USAID, que destinaba millones de dólares de los pagadores de impuestos a financiar desde revistas y canales de televisión, a fraudes electorales como en Brasil, o gobiernos con aspiraciones discriminatorias como el de Sudáfrica. Y como decía, gobiernos con aspiraciones discriminatorias como el sudafricano, entre tantas otras aberraciones, incluyendo la agenda de la paranoia climática, los excesos de la ideología de género y la investigación que derivó la creación del virus del COVID-19. Sin embargo, lo único que realmente logra este mecanismo de bajada de línea globalista es transferir riqueza de la clase baja de un país rico a la clase alta de un país pobre. En pocas palabras, hablo de una red global de influencia y formación de opinión pagada con los impuestos de los ciudadanos, un aparato de propaganda sin precedentes en la historia humana, quizás el escándalo político más grande que hayamos visto. Y luego esos mismos hipócritas acusan a Elon Musk de interferir en las elecciones de otros países. Claramente su descaro es tan grande como sus aspiraciones totalitarias. Y si ese nivel de colectivismo en sangre hubiera tenido soluciones, sus apologistas tendrían al menos algo a lo cual aferrarse, pero ni eso. Esa fue históricamente la excusa de los estatistas del pasado, que la prosperidad llegaría mediante la administración racional de recursos por parte del Estado, recursos que el sector privado era incapaz de aprovechar. Pregunta, ¿y acaso quién maneja el sector público? ¿No son humanos? Sin embargo, hemos sido testigos de que a mayor expansión estatal, peor es la calidad de vida de la gente. No por nada Hayek dedicó su último libro a explicar este fenómeno, al cual llamó la fatal arrogancia. Pero esto no es accidental. Más allá de su evidente incompetencia, la clase política no se dedica a solucionar problemas. Al fin y al cabo, un problema solucionado es un área de la que el Estado debe retirarse. Al contrario, la clase política se dedica a perpetuar los problemas y así vivir de ellos para siempre. Por eso viven creando problemas nuevos, instalándolos desde sus aparatos de propaganda para luego ofrecer a sí mismos como solución. ¿Y en qué consiste esa solución? En la implementación de regulaciones que causan todavía más problemas a ser solucionados por más regulaciones. En medicina se usa el término iatrogenia para referirse al daño que sufre un paciente como consecuencia de la atención médica. Podría decirse entonces que el régimen estatista consiste en la iatrogenia como política de Estado, o sea, es el médico que se enriquece a base del deterioro progresivo e intencional de sus pacientes. Con el modelo del Estado presente, el Estado te quiebra las piernas para después venderte las muletas como un sobreprecio y obligarte a agradecerle, y te persigue si no lo haces. Como contrapunto, dicen algunos testimonios que en la medicina tradicional china, el médico familiar cobraba honorarios de forma constante por mantener a la familia sana. O sea, según la leyenda, cuando un miembro enfermaba, el médico dejaba de percibir los honorarios, viéndose incentivado a resolver la enfermedad de una forma eficiente y rápida. Imagínense tan solo pudiera funcionar así el Estado. Cuánta miseria nos hubiéramos ahorrado. Hoy, a quienes queremos desmantelar este sistema demencial nos llaman antidemocráticos. Pero nuevamente, esta es una tergiversación de las palabras, algo muy propio de la izquierda, para variar. Ellos no le llaman democracia al gobierno del pueblo, sino al paradigma de expansión total estatal ilimitada que ellos mismos administran. Para ellos, la democracia existe y únicamente si ganan los que ellos quieren, para poder someter a la gente a sus caprichos. Pero cuando la minoría electoral son ellos, la elección de la mayoría pasa a ser autoritarismo. De hecho, muchos de los que nos acusan de antidemocráticos ni siquiera fueron electos. Toman decisiones que afectan a miles de millones de personas alrededor del mundo y sin embargo nadie los conoce. No son responsables ante nadie más que sí mismos y no pueden ser echados por el voto popular. Y así y todo vienen a hablarnos de democracia. En fin, dicen que Trump y yo somos un peligro para la democracia, pero en realidad están diciendo que somos un peligro para ellos. Somos un peligro para el partido del Estado, para quienes viven de su expansión ilimitada, para quienes quieren un individuo dependiente y sometido a sus caprichos regulatorios. ¿Y saben qué? Tienen razón, somos su peor pesadilla. Venimos por sus privilegios, habiendo sido elegidos por la mayoría de cada uno de nuestros pueblos, con el mandato claro de quitarles un poder que no les pertenece. Hoy nuestros países, Argentina y Estados Unidos, necesitan pasar por una segunda independencia. La primera nos liberó del poder de las monarquías europeas. La segunda nos liberará de la tiranía del partido del Estado. Por eso hemos puesto tanto esfuerzo en identificarlo, porque no se puede luchar contra lo que no se conoce. Y tener un enemigo bien definido es un aspecto fundamental de nuestra batalla cultural. Ahora ya lo conocemos, le hemos ganado en las elecciones y estamos en proceso de desarmar su leviatán, que es una herramienta de opresión perpetua. No tenemos ninguna fórmula secreta, solo conocer la historia humana y saber qué es lo que ha funcionado y qué no. Por eso, con humildad, quiero reflexionar un poco sobre cómo venimos llevando adelante esta batalla. Nosotros trabajamos con firmeza y de frente, sin dar lugar a compromisos. Defendemos un conjunto de valores que no estamos dispuestos a negociar, así como ellos no han estado dispuestos a negociar a la hora de quitarnos nuestra libertad. Lo que ellos impusieron sin nuestro consentimiento está siendo eliminado sin el consentimiento de ellos. Por eso hemos pasado la motosierra por los sectores y atribuciones del Estado que consideramos superfluos, redundantes, innecesarios o directamente perniciosos para la sociedad. Y más aún, este año emprenderemos la fase 2 de este proceso, que hemos bautizado como la motosierra profunda, para continuar achicando el Estado, devolviéndole a la gente la riqueza que jamás debió habérsele sido arrebatada. Lo interesante es que este proceso de justicia tiene un correlato político, porque por su naturaleza el partido del Estado se financió históricamente de gasto público mal asignado y de negocios turbios con el Estado. Por eso, achicar el Estado es cortarle la manguera a los clientes del Estado enquistado en él, que ejercían un feroz resistencia al cambio, valiéndose el dinero de los pagadores de impuestos para mantenernos subyugados. Nuestro método es similar al de nuestro querido amigo Elon Musk: revisar oficina por oficina, conservar lo que sirve y funciona y descartar el resto. Por eso le obsequié una motosierra. Con nosotros nadie que no pueda justificar el costo de su salario en impuestos está a salvo. Muchos de ellos tendrán que volver al sector privado y ganarse la vida ofreciendo sus bienes y servicios en el mercado, tal como los pagadores de impuestos de los que han vivido tantos años. Mi más sentido pésame a los políticos que creyeron que este momento nunca llegaría y no están preparados, porque se van a llevar un baldazo de agua fría. Por suerte para ellos, en toda desgracia hay una oportunidad. Y debido a nuestro avance desregulador, los salarios del sector privado seguirán subiendo, por lo que si hacen las cosas bien, podrán ser parte del progreso, pero lejos de la casta estatal. Como ya he dicho, esto no es una tarea sencilla. Aquí en Estados Unidos, burócratas rebeldes han intentado sabotear el trabajo del Departamento de Eficiencia Gubernamental y están recurriendo a mecanismos burocráticos y legales para intentar bloquear cualquier reforma, lo cual también sucede en nuestro país y es algo con lo que debemos luchar día a día. Pero nada de eso nos ha tomado por sorpresa. Somos conscientes de que van a hacer lo posible por detener este cambio, sin importar el daño resultante. Si tienen que destruir el mundo para conservar sus privilegios, lo van a hacer. Y nosotros vamos a seguir luchando. Pero hoy el problema se extiende más allá de las penurias a las cuales el modelo del Estado presente ha sometido a cada una de nuestras naciones individualmente, porque la decadencia de nuestros gobiernos durante la historia reciente a lo largo y a lo ancho de Occidente no solo empobreció material y espiritualmente a nuestros propios ciudadanos, también nos debilitó política, económica, cultural y socialmente ante el enemigo externo. Nos volvió moralmente débiles y nos hizo vulnerables ante las peores expresiones de la barbarie, los peores enemigos de la libertad. Y a ellos no se les puede dar un centímetro, porque cuando huelen sangre avanzan envalentonados y sin piedad. Esto quedó demostrado durante los cobardes ataques perpetuados el 7 de octubre de 2023 en Israel, que costaron más de 1.000 inocentes y la captura de 251 personas. Esta semana Israel recibió los cuerpos sin vida de la familia Vivas, que permanecían secuestrados por el régimen terrorista y asesino de Hamas, entre los cuales se encuentra una madre y sus 2 hijos, un niño de 4 años y un bebé de tan solo 9 meses. Es tan inescrupuloso y sanguinario este régimen que, en el último gesto canallesco, no tuvieron mejor idea que exhibir burdamente sus ataúdes ante el vitoreo de una multitud sin el más mínimo respeto. Esto es lo que está en juego y no podemos darnos el lujo de fallar. Por eso es fundamental que las naciones que hemos abrazado en las ideas de la libertad permanezcamos unidas y colaboremos unas con otras. Debemos formar una alianza de naciones libres, porque como ya he dicho en otra ocasión, el mal organizado solo puede ser vencido por el bien organizado. Solo mediante esta internacional de derecha podremos ponerle un fin a la casta política a la que nos enfrentamos, que está hundiendo a Occidente en la más oscura profundidad, y recuperar el ímpetu para proteger a las fuerzas despóticas que nos quieren subyugados. Por eso quiero también aprovechar para anunciar que Argentina quiere ser el primer país del mundo en sumarse a este acuerdo de reciprocidad que pide la administración Trump en materia comercial. De hecho, si no estuviéramos restringidos por el Mercosur, la Argentina ya estaría trabajando en un acuerdo de libre comercio con los Estados Unidos que sea mutuamente beneficioso y que no cargue injustamente sobre las espaldas de los productores argentinos, pero tampoco sobre los de los americanos. Esto es así porque solo trabajando juntos aquellos que queremos construir un mundo libre podremos salir adelante. Solo así podremos salir de la pesadilla del Estado omnipresente y así poder seguir haciendo lo que sabemos hacer como Occidente, poner a prueba los límites de lo posible, confiando en la creatividad de la sociedad y no en la discrecionalidad estéril de los burócratas. Solo así podremos retornar nuestro camino de grandeza como civilización, haciendo honor a nuestros antepasados que dieron la vida por ver un mundo libre y una humanidad próspera. Solo así, finalmente, podremos reencontrarnos con nosotros mismos y volver a crear en aquello que nos hizo grande como civilización. Que Dios bendiga a la República Argentina, que Dios bendiga a los Estados Unidos y que las fuerzas del cielo nos acompañen. ¡Viva la libertad, carajo!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller.
Who is ready in just a few short hours to hear from the man himself, our 47th president, Donald J. Trump? My friends, it has been a long road, has it not? It's been a long road. And these last 4 years, we felt every single painful minute. But nothing, my friends, is sweeter or more extraordinary than victory. Who here has enjoyed the last 30 days of America's new golden age? And who here has been filled with pride and excitement in watching President Trump install the most extraordinary cabinet and team any of us has ever seen? Our new Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. Our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. And of course, we have at the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk. White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. And perhaps the most exciting of all is the fact that every single day, the entire White House staff, the entire administration, the entire cabinet, on behalf of President Trump and his extraordinary leadership, is getting the lies out of our schools, the men out of women's sports, the poison out of our foods, the woke out of our military, the predators off our streets, and the illegal aliens the hell out of our country. It's happening. It is happening. Every day under President Trump, he is saying hell no to DEI. He is saying hell no to CRT. He is saying hell no to the indoctrination of our children. And is saying hell yes to the idea that America belongs to Americans. A historic slate of executive orders have been issued by President Trump to reclaim control of this government, to reclaim control of our destiny, to reclaim control of our future. And to restore the idea that under a democracy, the entire federal bureaucracy works for President Trump and not the other way around. He is the elected head of our government. And to all the people in the media, all the people on the radical left, all the people in the Democratic Party screaming about democracy, Donald Trump is the one who is saving democracy. Donald Trump is the one who is saving our Constitution. Donald Trump is the one who is saving America. And any federal bureaucrat who defies the lawful orders of this president will be fired. President Trump will ensure that whether you work at the FBI, whether you work at the CIA, whether you work at the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, the Department of Health and Human Services, career civil servants, also known as bureaucrats, work for the American people, and they work for the president the American people elected. They do not set their own agenda. They do not write their own rules. They do not work for themselves. They work for each and every one of you. You pay their salaries. You pay for the buildings they work in. You pay for every single thing they do. And if they are not following the laws, the Constitution, and the President of the United States, then they will find a new career. By the way, speaking of the FBI, who here is thrilled about Kash Patel? Let us not forget what President Trump endured in order to get to this point, to climb to the top of that Everest summit. Let us not forget what this whole movement has endured to reach this glorious day. 8 long years of weaponized government. The Russia hoax, the Ukraine hoax, one lie after another, one fraudulent impeachment after another, one hoax, one smear. Government weaponized at every level against democracy. Government weaponized at every level against the people. Democrat prosecutors, Democrat attorneys general, Democrat careers using their power to try to sabotage the democracy of this country, to try to keep President Trump off the ballot, to try to throw President Trump in jail, to try to arrest his aides and his supporters. An authoritarian movement in this country that has at every step tried to stop the workings of our democracy. And President Trump, on a field in Pennsylvania, nearly lost his life. And a few weeks later, another assassination plot. And let me ask you this question. When the lawsuits came against President Trump, when the lawfare came against President Trump, when the weaponized law enforcement and intelligence community came against President Trump, and when the bullets came against President Trump, did he falter? Did he back down? Did he yield? Did he surrender? Did he waver? Or did he stand up tall and strong and raise his fists into the air and say 3 immortal words, fight, fight, fight? Every day, that is what he is doing for you. He is fighting for your families. He is fighting for your children. He is fighting for your future. He is fighting for the fundamental idea that this country belongs not to the bureaucrats, not to the radical left communists, not to our foreign enemies, not to the criminal cartels, not to the criminal aliens. This country belongs to the law-abiding, patriotic, God-fearing American citizens. It belongs to the people in this room, and it belongs to the patriots watching at home today. I want you to know that every single morning President Trump wakes up and he thinks about you. And all day long, as he's signing executive orders, as he's meeting with world leaders, as he is orchestrating and directing the actions of this government, he is thinking about you and your future. President Trump's heart beats for the American people. President Trump's heart beats for the American Republic. And President Trump's heart is filled with nothing but love and loyalty for this republic. No president has done more in 30 days than President Trump has done. But we need you to stay in the fight. It is not enough to celebrate the victories we've achieved thus far. Every single day, we need, and President Trump, our president, needs you to be involved in pushing this agenda forward, promoting every single victory, every success, every agenda item, being involved at every level of politics to keep driving forward. You think they're just going to give us our country back? You think they're just going to roll over, move out of the way, stop their scheming and their lying? Or do you think we are going to have to be on top of it every single day, focused every single day, driving forward every single day with unrelenting focus and passion? Because God gave us this country. Our founding fathers fought and died for this country. Generations of Americans have sacrificed and bled for this country, and we are not going to let the radical left, the communists, and the America haters take our country. It's not going to happen. Not now, not ever. But it's going to take everyone in this room to stand with President Trump each and every day, to stand by his side every single day, as President Trump boldly and bravely leads us into this golden age. And if you do that, I promise you, if you support this president and his leadership vision and his command and his inspiration, I promise you that if we follow President Trump, then this is what our future will look like. The best economy in history, the strongest border in history, the proudest and most patriotic children in history, and the single greatest future in history. And we will prove worthy of this moment. We will prove worthy of this period. We will prove worthy of this opportunity given to us by Almighty God. And I swear to you, and I promise you, and I pledge to you, it will all be worth it. And our children will grow up in a world where they can say, America is stronger, more incredible, more courageous, more united, more devoted, more committed, more incredible, more exceptional, prouder, and more amazing than it has ever been before, with the leadership and the vision and the drive of our President Donald J. Trump. So I ask you all to send a message right now to all the bureaucrats, to all the radical left commies, to the criminal aliens, the foreign gangs, the transnational terrorists, to everyone who threatens the future of this country. Do you stand with President Trump? Do you support President Trump? Do you believe in President Trump? And do you believe in the future of America? Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the United States. I love you.
The 47th President of the United States of America.
And, you know, I wouldn't say Fox has been exactly perfect. Fox has been a big difference of Fox between now and what it was 4 years ago, as you know. But we have others that come along, and they're doing well, and Newsmax has been really good, and, you know, others are coming along. And people are seeing that they're watching these conservative networks.
President Trump is right. That's why millions of Americans are tuning into Newsmax for the real news they can trust.
Today is under attack. The home, the church, the government. And many people are asking, what is the truth? Jesus Christ claimed the ultimate truth. Are you willing to face the truth?
Do you think the MK Ultra project ever actually ended?
The Central Intelligence Agency is actively involved in mind manipulation.
We all answer to one God and one Savior. And He's there to change your life for the better.
It's time for the great one and his boss. Please welcome, from the Mark Levin Show, Mark Levin. And from America First Legal, Julie Strauss Levin.
Good morning, Cpac. How's everybody today? You're looking beautiful. And I tell you what, honey, I've been here several days. The energy and the excitement in this room is unbelievable. It's hard to believe that a year has gone. Thank God we lived with 4 years of a president who tried to shove down our throats Marxism and the moral decay of the fabric of our country. And here we are. Fast forward. We got President Donald J. Trump. We have 2 genders. We have DEI gone. We have equality over equity, border crossings down 93%. And we have a world stage where America is now respected and feared. So what do you think? Give me your 2 seconds on this.
Pretty good. Next question. How is everybody? Come on, let's go. It's exciting times, is it not? Well, I was thinking about something about this cabinet that we have now, and thought to myself, we really have a cabinet that looks like America here. First of all, we have a president that knows how many grandchildren he has, and he loves every one of them. That helps. But let's look at this cabinet. We have the first, I'm sounding like a liberal. We have the first person of color as the FBI director. Have you heard them say that? No. First Cuban American as Secretary of State. The first gay Secretary of the Treasury. The first straight Secretary of Transportation in 4 years. We have one of the highest ranking African Americans, Elon Musk. We have the first hillbilly vice president, J.D. Vance. We have the first Secretary of Defense who is 114 years old. We have women in the cabinet who are proud to be called women and know what the hell a woman is. And then there's Donald Trump, who's on course of being the greatest president, if not modern history, all history. Look what he's done in 4 weeks.
Bravo, bravo. Give a round of applause.
And one other thing about Donald Trump. I told Donald Trump this at a Hanukkah party a few years ago. He's the greatest friend Israel's ever had. And so are you, by the way, and I want to thank you for that. He's the greatest friend Jews have ever had, so we have the first Jewish president in American history, too. Looks like America, that cabinet.
So speaking of that, first of all, I want to do a real sincere shout out to Mercy and Matt Schlapp, because their steadfast support of Israel is seen throughout this conference and day in and day out at Cpac. So we really need to thank them for that. It's really, really huge. You know, there used to be a time that depravity, murder, brutality was not acceptable to either party, when Republicans and Democrats alike were determined to eradicate the enemy. But here we are after an October 7, where we really learned what today's Democrat Party is. It's the Republican Party, it's conservatives, it's Jews, it's Christians who really care about what's going on in Israel and are appalled at the heinous acts that happened on October 7th. It's the Republicans, it's the conservatives, it's Donald J. Trump who have said Israel must conquer, Israel must win, Israel must do what it needs to do, not just to defend, but to go on offense and get rid of the enemy. So I just want to remind everybody that a year ago, I interviewed the father of a hostage victim at that time, Sagid Deckelhen, and here we are a year later. He's out. But, honey, I want you to talk about what we saw the other day with 4 bodies coming out of Israel and the joy that was exhibited by the Palestinians in Gaza as these coffins were shown.
These bastards must be eradicated. It's that simple. You don't take a 9-month-old baby and a 4-year-old little boy and their mother and torture them, strangle those kids with your bare hands, chop up their bodies so nobody they think will notice. Remember when that mother was being pulled with her kids and she knew the people doing this are subhumans. They are rabid. They're not animals. Animals don't do this. Donald Trump knows this. These are the same people who attacked us on 9/11. These are the same people who decapitated 70 black Christians in a Congo church 48 hours ago. All of them. This is the enemy. It's not about land. It's not about borders. It's not about any of that. They seek to extinguish us, these Islamist terrorists, and we're going to have to extinguish them before they even have a shot at extinguishing us. Another thing, constitutional crisis. Give me a break. The Democrat Party that hates the founders, that is pushing CRT, the 1619 Project, that tells us the Constitution's too old and too white. The Democrat Party that doesn't believe in the First, Second, Fifth, Sixth, Ninth, 10th, 14th Amendments. The Democrat Party that doesn't believe in separation of powers. We don't need lectures from them about the Constitution of the United States. That's number one. Number two, you activist judges, which are basically slip and fall, ambulance-chasing lawyers in black robes. That's what they are. You either act like judges or get the hell off the bench. You are the people destroying the Constitution. The President of the United States has a right to make personnel decisions. He has a right to make budget decisions. He has a right to restructure the bureaucracy. You know, I happen to have here a copy of the Constitution.
Not that you need it. I mean, you really do pretty much
This
know
little
it.
baby sticks with me all the time. And let me tell you something. You know how many federal district judges are in this Constitution? None. They're created by Congress. That's right. So Congress has the power to make decisions over the executive branch. I thought it was separation of powers. Judges have the power to tell the CDC what to put on their website? How's that separation of powers? We have a big problem in this country. We can't decide if we're a constitutional republic, a federal republic, a representative republic, or a republic at all. And the truth is that if they have their way, the people who are worried about the Constitution, first of all, what Constitution are they worried about? The old Soviet Constitution? Because they're sure as hell not worried about our Constitution, that I can tell you. You can't be a Marxist, an Islamist, a radical leftist, and support the Constitution of the United States. You just can't. What Elon Musk, with the leadership of Donald Trump, have uncovered is a government within a government. It's not just waste, fraud, and abuse. It is a subterranean government that is spending trillions of dollars to push a radical left agenda. And we have no help from you in the media, who are attacking the very people who are uncovering the bloat and the spending and the waste and the criminality. Why the hell aren't you uncovering it? That's your damn job.
Well, and it's the same media that likes to avail itself of the First Amendment, right, when it's convenient. So,
oh, can I?
Yeah.
AP and the rest of you big corporate media, it says freedom of the press. It doesn't say freedom of the corporate press, okay? The President of the United States can decide which press he wants in the press room and which he doesn't. Who died and gave you permanent seats in the press room? NBC and ABC and CBS? Besides, we don't get news from you people. I wrote a whole book on it called Unfreedom of the Press. You're Democrats, you're leftists, we know exactly who you are, what you're doing. You can do whatever you want on your own time. You can pretend you're in the press. We're not going to shut you down. We want you out there. Why? We want the schmucks out front so everybody can see what they look like. Well, that's okay.
And not only that, what happened on November 5th? I mean, November 5th proved that the American people are not fooled by the people back there, and they know and they're able to find the truth because Americans are smart and they know American values, they know right from wrong, and no media is going to change that. So, look, we don't have a lot of time.
By the way, I know I can't stop.
No, but wait. I'm going to let you say something, but I do want to, I need you to reserve, because remember, I'm the boss here. I'm the boss.
30 seconds.
I need you to reserve time to talk about the misnomer that is birthright citizenship.
I will deal with that. Takes about 14 seconds. But
No.
You know, the media are funny, aren't they? They lied about Joe Biden. They didn't care. They didn't have any press conferences. And now they're worried about a seat at the table. worried about a seat. For what? Let me tell you something in the media. Do we agree that Abraham Lincoln was a fantastic president?
Yes.
He was a great president. He shut down 200 newspapers. Donald Trump hasn't shut down anything. You're going broke because we, the people, are shutting it down. We're not subscribing. We're not buying your damn newspapers. We're not watching your TV shows. We support the First Amendment. We support free speech. We support freedom of the press. You don't.
How do you really feel about it, honey? No, just kidding. Okay, so now seriously, I think we need
She's pretty.
We need to talk about birthright citizenship because, again, this is a perfect example of what the left do. They take words like democracy and the Constitution, and then they exploit them because they don't really care about either of them. So they came up with this term, birthright citizenship, like anybody who comes here illegally and gives birth, that child, that baby, is an American citizen like magic. And that's not true. They cite the 14th Amendment. Do your Mark Levin thing where you give a little bit of a primer. No, because it's really important. It was so taken hostage, this paragraph in the 14th Amendment.
First of all, I wore the wrong socks, honey. I'm showing a little ankle up here. I'm not showing any more.
Okay, so I wasn't going to bring an intention to
All right, let me do it. I've been talking about this for 20 years. Read it yourself. Where's the phrase birthright citizenship in the Constitution? It's right next to abortion. Doesn't exist. So they have this invisible pen, you know, where they write these things in. The 14th Amendment was passed like the 13th and the 15th because of slavery and the Civil War. And the country came together and said, we must, in the Constitution, fix this. We must give equal rights to human beings who have been held as slaves and are now free. We must give them all the protections and rights of a citizen of the United States. Jurisdiction thereof meant the black slaves who were now free were in the jurisdiction of the United States, and all the rights and privileges, including equality and all the rest, would apply to them. It was written by Republican senators. The 14th Amendment was based, this aspect of it, based on the 1866 Civil Rights Act, the first Civil Rights Act. Andrew Johnson, who was then president after the assassination of Lincoln, was a Democrat. He refused to sign that civil rights bill. So they overrode him and they said, we need to enshrine this in the Constitution of the United States. That provision applied to black people who were freed from slavery and were still being abused in the old Confederacy. And that amendment was passed by 3/4 of the state legislatures, including southern states that were told, if you don't vote for this, you're not coming back into the Union. We know what they meant. The author of the 14th Amendment specifically rejected the idea of aliens, specifically. In fact, they rejected the idea of what they called Indians because they had separate countries at the time, or at least it was viewed that way. So they were excluded, underscoring the fact that you had to be a United States citizen and understood to be. So people who write that, all of a sudden, now it's interpreted to mean if you come into the United States illegally and you have a baby, that's a citizen, that baby? There is literally no language to back it up, no legislative history to back it up, no history whatsoever to back it up, and yet I suspect the courts are going to give the birthright citizenship crowd what they want. And they'll mention some 1898 decision involving a Chinese couple. It still didn't apply to illegal aliens. So illegal aliens have no constitutional basis, but I will just warn you about this. Hollywood John Roberts, that's what I call him because he's worried about the press. I don't think he, and I don't think his new best friend Barrett, will do the right thing. I think they'll join the three, I can't say women, because she wouldn't say women. They won't join.
That's okay, you can say it, go for it.
Two of the non-males, and one of the males I think that's a 5 that worries me. But just understand, your Constitution does not provide for birthright citizenship, period.
So I just want to add one little fine point, because you said a lot. You said a lot there. You notice how it's the Republican Party that consistently has been the champion of equality and the rights of black people throughout history.
Every major civil rights bill, starting in 1866 through the 50s with Eisenhower, the 60s, the Republicans either wrote it, sponsored it, or they had supermajorities to get them passed. Never forget, the Democrat Party is the party of slavery, segregation, eugenics, Jim Crow. Now they're the party of Marxism, Islamism, and anti-constitutionalism. That's a fact.
And it was Woodrow Wilson who did what? He resegregated the military when he became president.
God bless you all. Our time is up. Be well.
We love you, Cpac.
And thank you, President Trump.
In a time when the very fabric of our nation seemed under siege, one organization was willing to fight for America's principles and defend our children's future.
Joining me now, Terry Schilling, president of the American Principles Project.
This is what happens when tolerance goes too far.
It's a bit shocking to hear Democrats talk about them losing the culture war. After all, they started it.
You're denying reality, you're denying them the care that they need.
The only homicide on January 6th was the unlawful shooting death of Ashley Babbitt. This major new lawsuit that Judicial Watch filed, a $30 million wrongful death lawsuit against the United States government. She was unarmed. There were no weapons visible. She was shot in the shoulder and killed by Lieutenant Byrd. He popped out and shot her dead. Ashley was shot in cold blood, and the rule of law requires justice for her.
Every institution today is under attack. The home, the church, the government. And many people are asking, what is the truth? Jesus Christ claimed the ultimate truth. Are you willing to face the truth?
Do you think the MK Ultra project ever actually ended?
The Central Intelligence Agency is actively involved in mind manipulation.
We all answer to one God and one Savior. And He's there to change your life for the better.
All right, America is back on track 2025, but next year, Cpac 2026 is going to be even bigger. Go get your tickets now. Go to cpac.org and join the movement.
As I think it was President Reagan said, we're from the government. We're here to help.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
We're from the government. We're here to help.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
President Trump is back in the White House.
President of the United States.
Donald Trump has taken back America.
I actually started quite a while ago in Cpac, and I enjoyed it so much that I came back for a second one, then a third, then I said, what the hell, let's run for president. Matt said, it's like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He says, you should run for politics. He's the one who said, you should run.
For the presidency of the United States.
It is my honor to introduce to Cpac 2017, our president, Donald Trump.
First of all, I want to thank Matt Schlapp and his very, very incredible wife and boss, Mercedes, who have been fantastic friends and supporters, and so great when I watch them on television defending me. Nobody has a chance. I love this place. Love you people. You never stop fighting for America, and I will never, ever stop fighting for you. We know that there are still more records to be shattered, new summits to be scaled, more triumphs to be realized,
and more amazing history just waiting to be written. The American adventure has only just begun.
God bless America, and we will see you next year. Thank you very much. You never stop fighting for America, and I will never, ever stop fighting for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome host of the PBD podcast, Patrick Bet David.
All right. How you doing? How you feeling? Good? Okay. I got the lunchtime slot, which means some of you are either eating or wanting to go eat, but I do have a message for you. How you doing? Yes, it's great to be with you. How many of you here watch or listen to the PBD podcast? I'm curious. Okay, it's a good amount. All right, so I got a simple message for you with the limited time that I have here for you. First of all, it's an honor to be here at Cpac. This is my first time being here. Just had a chance to speak with Matt and Mercedes, incredible people. It's incredible to be around you, especially the fact that the person you wanted to win won in 2024, which is a very big deal. I got a question for you. Can you think about the two things tyrants fear? Let me ask the question one more time. What would you say are the two things tyrants running a country fear? What are the two things? First thing they fear is you and I having guns to protect ourselves. The second thing they fear is you and I having a megaphone to express ourselves. Now, I want you to think about this. In the last 3 weeks, I've interviewed two different people. One of the ones I had on the podcast 3 weeks ago, he flew in the entire time he was nervous. He was a former founder of the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. He started the IRGC with Khomeini in 1979. 3 months after I was born, I was living in Iran, and I brought him on the podcast. For many years, we've been wanting to have this man to come on the podcast, but obviously he doesn't want to come because directly and indirectly, millions of people died because of this man. If you go on Google, you type in founder of IRGC, you'll see his name and Khomeini's name. I bring him on. It's a little bit uncomfortable. I say, so let me ask you a question. When you guys took over the revolution, the Shah is gone. That's the last time the Middle East was at peace. No issues. Iran gets along with Israel. No wars. Things are good. Then you come over. You take over Iran. Khomeini flies in. You fly in. What is the first thing you guys did? He says, our #1 mission was to get all the guns out of people's hands. And I said, tell me why? He says, because we wanted to be safe. I said, safe from what? Well, we had to be careful because there was a lot of criminals who had a lot of guns. I said, citizens having guns are criminals. They're trying to protect themselves. So again, what do tyrants fear? First thing is what? Your guns, because you can protect yourself. 2 days ago, I got back from Brazil. We're flying out to Brazil to do a 3-hour interview with former President Jair Bolsonaro. How many of you guys love President Bolsonaro? So we're in Brazil. While we're about to go, they are briefing us on what to be prepared for before we go to Brazil. They say, #1, have an international lawyer ready in case something happens. #2, make sure you have an armored truck. #3, come with a good delegation. We went with 9 of us. And then we'll be escorting you all over the place. So we go and we experience everything. And then eventually the president comes. And the president sits there and we start conducting the interview. One of the most emotional interviews I've ever done. This man is crying, tears dropping on the table. I can't wait for the interview to come out this Wednesday. And I hear him speaking. About 15 minutes left for the interview to be done. Somebody comes in and is whispering in his ear. Boom. He swipes the hand. Interview ends. Doing all the stuff that he's doing. He gets out. 1 hour later, alert on the phone. Jair Bolsonaro has been charged and is facing 38 years in prison. For what? There's a judge there in Brazil. His name is Alexandre de Moraes. Anybody knows who he is? Okay. If there is a picture for someone that looks like a tyrant, it is Alexandre de Moraes. This man is a tyrant at the highest level. And he is the second man, the second point that tyrants fear is freedom of speech. I'm talking to the former president. He's not comfortable talking about certain things, but he let everything loose. He knows you can't talk. They don't want you to talk over there. So you got guns, freedom of speech, and in the world, we have 195 countries, of which 193 have constitutions. Of the 193 that have constitutions, only one country gives you full-on freedom of speech with nothing about hate speech and Second Amendment. We're the only ones here that we have in America. Now keep this in mind. Sometimes when we sit there, we hear about, next year's gonna be United States birthday for 250 years. It's gonna be amazing. We are one of the youngest countries in the world. It's awesome. Well, think about the oldest countries in the world. Iran, roughly 3300 BC. Egypt, 3100 BC. You got Assyria, you got Armenia, you got China, you got all these countries, right? Oldest. We are one of the youngest. But watch this here. Does anybody know what country has the oldest constitution in the world? What country has the oldest constitution in the world, including UK? We, the people, have the oldest constitution in the world. So now watch this. Some of you are clapping, you're like, I don't know what point he's trying to make here. I don't know where you're going with this. Let me give you some numbers here. Dominican Republic has changed their constitution 32 times. Venezuela 26 times. Haiti 24. Ecuador 20. Brazil's changed it 7 times in the last 100 years. While I'm there in Brazil, we're going to the airport. Our flight's at 4:30. We get there at 2 o'clock waiting. Our flight gets canceled. We have to redirect our flight. We go to Peru, and then from Peru, we fly out to Miami. And I'll never forget when we landed in Miami. It reminded me of back in July 15th of '89 when we're escaping Iran on a Lufthansa flight. And while we're going, everybody's waiting for the one magical word from the flight attendant. Anybody knows what it is? It's very simple. You can officially order alcohol. We've crossed the border. And we're like, we're free. This is amazing. We are officially out of Iran, right? So we landed in Miami. I'm like, oh my God, this kind of takes me back to that moment when we left, Iran and experiencing what freedom's like. Then we get down here. And I'm sitting and I'm talking to all these different senators and congressmen in Brazil. And here's a number I noticed. I want to kind of take it back because it's very important for us to be thinking about. In Brazil, they have 11 Supreme Court justices, of which only 2 are conservative. In Brazil, they have 81 senators, of which only 22 are conservatives. In Brazil, they have 513 congressmen and women, of which only 130 are conservatives. Let me just kind of take back a little bit and talk to you guys about maybe possibly the greatest accomplishment any president's ever done. If the Supreme Court justice was the other way around, 6-3, and when they said Colorado wants to remove the president off the ballot, and they would have succeeded, Kamala Harris would have been your president today. I understand, I'm with you. But I want you to think about why this is so important. For 25 years of my life, I was an atheist. When you live in Iran, my mother's Armenian, her last name's Bogosian, my dad's Assyrian, Bet David. I'm living in Iran, we're a Christian family trying to make it work. We're going to school, you're going to church, kind of keep it quiet. And you dream about one day coming here. You're like, oh my God, I can't wait to one day come to America. It's going to be such a great deal to come to America. I'm sitting there kind of thinking to myself about all this stuff with Iran. And hey, the Congress, the Senate, all this stuff. You bring it to today. This man flips 3 Supreme Court justices. He doesn't do that. Kamala gets in. They would have done everything in their power they could have to prevent the president from speaking. They tried to silence him. They took him all the social media sites. There's a lot of people that want to be friends with him today. Same people that silenced him. They said he can't use social media. Got off. Then you go from there, you dream about coming to America, and you sit there, you think about it, you say, oh my God, I cannot even believe the fact that I'm living in a country like this where you and I, as an atheist, you're like, maybe God this, I don't know about this, people are dying in Iran, I'm in a refugee camp in Germany for a year and a half, you come to the States, I'm a regular guy going to school, then all of a sudden I join the Army, I go to the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, I'm in the Army, I'm in my uniform, quite honestly, I joined at first for GI Bill, and I'm standing there waiting. We're at a Labor Day, a Memorial Day, and I see one of my chief warrant officers on this side in tears. I see another colonel over here in tears. I see a sergeant first class on this side in tears. I'm like, why are these guys crying? Why are they crying? And then we go into the auditorium, they say, there's a movie coming out about your unit. You guys are gonna get a chance to watch it before the world sees it. What's the movie? Saving Private Ryan. I watched this movie at the end, I'm like, I am so proud to be an American. I am so proud to be part of the 101st Airborne Division. I am so proud to be living here. So I watched. While I'm in the Army, because of my PT score, I was able to go hang out at this one camp for 2 days where we could play pool, jump in a lake, and all this stuff. This man hands me a Bible. I'm like, sir, I'm the wrong guy to give you a Bible. He says, my parents gifted me this Bible December 24th of 1974. I think you need it more than I do. I said, I'm telling you, it's not, you don't want to give it to me. I'm the wrong guy. He gives it to me. I start praying 3 times a day. Long story short, 25 years old, life changes, God's in my life. Everything from there has been revolutionary. It doesn't even make sense to me. It's a miracle. Here's what it made me think about. How many of you remember the last time you had one of those nights where you pray for an hour and you're on your knees and nobody sees you? Who knows what I'm talking about? Anybody's ever done that before? By the way, for some of you that are devout Christians, maybe it's a normal Tuesday for you, but for those of you guys that just kind of go to church once in a while, you've only done that 3 or 4 or 5 times in your life. Does anybody relate where you don't do that often? What were you praying about in June of 2024? What were you praying about when you're sitting there? What were we thinking about? What was going on? What were the issues? Everything we're watching, what's going to be taking place? And then you mean to tell me the president is a one look away from this being assassinated, and he lives, and all these miracles happen. President Obama in 8 years flips 1 seat. Trump flips 3 seats in 1 term. You don't think God's hands on America again? By the way, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is sometimes when we start winning and we start making money and we start driving the nice cars and our candidate wins and we're like, yay, it's great and it's awesome, our paranoia goes away. Let me just prepare you for something. We got to stay paranoid. We got to stay optimistic. They're plotting their moves behind closed doors while you and I are here at this event. We got to keep recruiting the next Bobby Kennedys, the next Tulsi Gabbers, the next Elon Musk, the next Joe Rogans, the next anybody. We got to recruit them over with common sense, with values, with the way we treat them. And if we do that, the future of America will look bright like never before. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome U.S. Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum.
Good afternoon, Cpac. So great to be with you. We are gathered here today at a historic time, and in a few hours you're going to have an opportunity to hear from a very historic president. Here's a name you probably haven't heard of, Buddy Melgus, Olympic gold medal sailor from Zenda, Wisconsin, grew up on a small, teeny little lake in Wisconsin. How did a kid from a small little lake in Wisconsin go on to become an Olympic sailor? He became an Olympic gold medal sailor because he understood you never have to recover from a great start. So I've got a few questions for you. In our entire U.S. history, which president has been off to the greatest start in history? Yes, okay, I can ask that a different way. Which president in American history has had the most impact in their first 33 days? Trump. And of course, we know the answer to this one. Which president right now, every hour, every day, is making America great again? There you go. I want to say thank you all for being here. This is such an important group. You are the difference makers. Cpac was the group that believed in President Trump when others didn't. You stayed with him. You worked so hard for all these years, and you were working because you supported President Trump, but you were working because you cared deeply about America. You wanted America to be better. You knew that America could reach its full potential. And now that is happening every single day, and it started here with you. Thank you, Cpac, for everything that you've done. Yes, President Trump has got a very clear and a very powerful vision on ways to make America great again, and at the center of that is energy dominance. He knows that energy dominance, when the U.S. is energy dominance, it's going to bring down inflation because energy is a component of every single product that we buy, every piece of food you eat, every vehicle you drive. He also knows that when we have energy to sell to our friends and allies, it's going to end our trade deficits. He knows it's going to create great American jobs. And he also knows that when we have energy to sell to our allies, it's going to end the wars abroad. And he is someone who wants to stop the killing. He wants to end wars. And President Trump, I believe, for that work, is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And this is a group that can help that happen for him. Yes, President Trump knows better than anyone that energy dominance is the foundation for American prosperity, for affordability and world peace. The Biden administration, wow, what a mess that we've inherited. The Biden administration, at the core of everything they're doing, we're beholden to a group of climate extremists. And when those climate extremists got the Biden administration to declare war on U.S. energy, and when they declared war on U.S. energy, it didn't reduce demand. It just shifted the supply to our adversaries across the world, to places like Iran. Iran, who sold hundreds of billions of dollars of energy through ghost ships and front companies to fund 24 terror groups against us. But President Trump wants that to stop. And he's got full maximum pressure against Iran. And he'll do what he did in his first term, which is financially he'll bring that country, or the Ayatollahs, not the country, but the Ayatollahs to their knees. But back home, the climate extremists that wanted it to shut down U.S. energy, what did they do to Americans? They raised the price of everything. Electricity prices 30% higher under the Biden administration. Some of you, if you live in the Northeast, you're going to be staring at 15 to 17 to 20% increases again this summer. This is all what we've inherited. And when we have high energy costs, that hurts our economy and we deindustrialize. And that's why President Trump on day one declared a national energy emergency. It wasn't just about price at the pump. He understood the mess that Biden left us, and that's why he declared that energy emergency. And part of that solution, last Friday, he created the National Energy Dominance Council. He asked me to chair it. He asked Chris Wright to be the vice chair. And with that, with the work that we're going to be doing, it covers everything. It covers electricity, it covers oil and gas, it covers biofuels, it covers export, it covers exploration, all the things that we need to do to have our country become an energy powerhouse. But let's just talk a little bit about one of the things that were left, and that's the energy emergency, and that is our electrical grid in this country is absolutely in danger. The climate extremists worshiped an ideology that defied physics, economics, and common sense. They believed that that was the existential threat. I will tell you that there's two existential threats that this administration believes in. One was existential threat was Iran getting a nuclear weapon. That would change the world, and this administration, working with our allies, is going to make sure that doesn't happen. And the second thing is, the second existential threat is losing the artificial intelligence arms race to China. This country has shut down more electricity than China has opened in the last 12 months. And we need electricity because electricity drives AI data centers, and AI data centers manufacture intelligence. And when we manufacture intelligence, it's going to change every job, every company, every industry. It's going to make the federal government more productive. But no, what did the Biden administration do? They focused on highly subsidized, unreliable, unaffordable, and weather-dependent sources of energy. We all know, you don't have to have a PhD to know that the sun doesn't shine 24 hours a day and the wind doesn't blow 365 days a year. And yet the Biden administration was trying to convince Americans that we could run a full-time society on part-time, intermittent, and expensive power. They pushed a Green New Deal that was a lot more like a Green New Steel because it was stealing your taxpayer dollars at the same time, raising the price of electricity for all of you, raising the price of food in this country, and jeopardizing our grid. We have today, for the first time, I was in tech for 30 years before I ever ran for office. We never used more than 1% of the nation's electricity in the whole technology sector. But now with AI coming, the demand is increasing, and that's real demand with real value, not artificial demand where we say we're going to stop driving internal combustion vehicles in favor of an EV. We're going to subsidize those EVs at 15 times anything we've ever done before, and then we're going to buy our batteries from China, who control 85% of the rare earth minerals. The whole plan was crazy. But what do we have right now under President Trump? President Trump knows that we weren't in some kind of mythical energy transition. He knows that we've got to have energy addition. He also knows, because if anybody has studied Energy 101, you'd know that any quote, transition would fail because only one time in all of human history, have humans ever transitioned off a source of energy. It was in the 1880s. Anybody know what that was in the 1800s when we transitioned off energy? Whale oil. I heard somebody knew the answer. Yes, we transitioned off of whale oil. Whale oil became very popular because it was cleaner, but then along comes oil, and oil we could refine into kerosene, and kerosene was better than whale oil. And so who knew, but you're hearing it here at Cpac, that it was over 150 years ago, fossil fuels saved the whales. And I think we've got some t-shirt merch experts here in this room, and I just think that could make a great slogan on a t-shirt, by the way. But President Trump's got a plan for energy dominance that's going to help drive us forward. All of you know that we've got $36.5 trillion of debt because we hear it over and over again. But has anybody ever come on this stage and told you how much America's assets are? No, because nobody knows what they are. And the Biden administration is playing hide the ball. But in the Trump administration, we're going to build that balance sheet. And we have trillions and trillions of dollars worth of natural resources. And we're going to make sure that we understand that our assets far exceed the debt that we have. But before Joe Biden left office, one of the things that he did was he took 625 million acres of offshore potential, trillions of dollars of revenue potential for you, your kids, and your grandkids, and with a stroke of a pen said, we're never going to develop that. Never. It's off the table. I got it. You can boo for that if you want to, but that's literally 1/3 of the lower 48 here. He was trying to rob us of that. But he's robbing us of those revenues and also of the American dream. But President Trump got into office, and with an executive order, he reversed that ban. That 625 million acres is back on our balance sheet, including some of those acres are where? They're in the Gulf of America. One of the other falsehoods is that somehow that those climate extremists cared more about the environment than any of us in this room. And I know how deeply this group cares, and I know the people in my home state, the farmers and ranchers, 4th and 5th generation, they live on the land, they care about the soil health, they care about the water, they care about the air, and that's why in North Dakota we had some of the cleanest air and water in the country, and we were an energy powerhouse. We can do both of these things in our country, because when you shut down U.S. energy and you push that supply overseas, you push it to places that use child labor, that don't do reclamation, they don't have any kind of regulatory environment like we have. And so it's cleaner. If you care about the environment, you want every drop of energy, every electron to be produced in the United States. That's the way to save the planet. And the Biden administration, they sanctioned Alaska 68 times with executive orders. 68 times Joe Biden issued orders that tried to shut down energy development in Alaska. They sanctioned Alaska more than they did Iran, if you can believe it. But those days are over. One of the other executive orders that President Trump signed is one not just unleashing American energy, but unleashing Alaska's potential. And when we do that, we have an opportunity to sell energy to Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, our allies in the Pacific, who we need more than ever because of the growing threat of China. So let me ask you, as we close out here today, when we talk about being energy dominant, we know that one thing that President likes to say, and I'm sure you'll hear it to say, which he wants us to drill, baby, drill, and we're going to do that. But the U.S. Geologic Survey, which is part of Interior, we've got a job to actually go out and map those resources to find out how many trillions or hundreds of trillions of dollars of assets belong to all of you, the public. So we're going to map, baby, map, and then we're also going to mine, baby, mine. We're going to mine, baby, mine, because we've got to get critical minerals developed back in our country. We can't be dependent. We're buying uranium from Russia for our nuclear plants. We have to be able to have those supply chains be right here. So we're going to do all of that. And when we do all of that, we're going to be able to build, baby, build. President Trump is the greatest economic developer that's ever existed. Nobody sells America better than he does. Chris Wright, my partner in this from the Department of Energy, he and I were asked by President Trump to join him when he was meeting with the Prime Minister of India and the Prime Minister of Japan. In those meetings, President Trump said to those leaders, you've got a deficit, a trade deficit with our country. We think you should solve that. What would you like to buy from us? Perhaps some energy? 30 years ago, he wrote the international bestseller, The Art of the Deal, President Trump did. I've seen him in action. Right now, every day, he's writing the sequel to that of The Art of the Deal in real time. Only, yes, he is, but he's dealing with the world leaders. They're coming to him, and they want to buy American, and we want to build American. And we know that President Trump is not only making America strong again, he's going to make America affordable again. He's helping with your help. He's fighting for the agenda, and you know what he's going to do? He's going to make America great again. Thank you, Cpac.
I switched.
I made the switch to Newsmax.
We start this morning in Washington, where all eyes are on the White House.
I switched to Newsmax.
Newsmax.
Have you made the switch? You bet I did. My whole family switched.
Everyone is making the switch. I did. I switched, and it made all the difference. It made all the difference.
Have you made the switch? You should.
Millions are switching to Newsmax. You should too.
America is under attack. Our families are being crushed under the politics of a radical agenda. But moms have had enough. We are standing up and we are fighting back.
This is our battle. This battle is every bit as important as the Revolutionary War because we fight for the same thing.
Moms for America is a national movement of moms reclaiming our culture for truth, family, freedom, and the Constitution.
I think Moms for America is exactly on track and is doing the right thing for the future of our country and our children.
Like Moms for America is going at the heart of the issue.
I want to go on the record and say I'm for moms, I'm for America, and I'm especially for Moms for America.
But I am honored to join Moms for America today as we speak out against the horrific mandates.
With a national network of over 500,000 mothers, Moms for America is one of the fastest growing movements of women in the country.
Well, the most dangerous place in all of nature is between a mama bear and her baby cub.
We are the change. No matter what, no matter where, and no matter how difficult the obstacles are that are facing us and our families, we will not give up and we will not give in.
So if not now, then when? If not you, then who?
Welcome to the Momland Revolution.
Freedom, sovereignty, prosperity. The Patriots for Europe Foundation is on a mission to make Europe great again. Globalist elites have led Europe into a dead-end street. Violent crime has surged because of mass immigration. The Green Deal has put the future of the European economy at risk. Fake NGOs and the massive bureaucracy in Brussels are interfering in our democracies. Patriots must take action. We bring analysis, we organize debates, we build the network of patriots to challenge the woke narrative head on. Patriots for Europe Foundation.
America is under attack. Our families are being crushed under the politics of a radical agenda. But moms have had enough. We are standing up and we are fighting back.
This is our battle. This battle is every bit as important as the Revolutionary War because we fight for the same thing.
Moms for America is a national movement of moms reclaiming our culture for truth, family, freedom, and the Constitution.
I think Moms for America is exactly on track and is doing the right thing for the future of our country and our children.
Like, Moms for America is going at the heart of the issue.
I want to go on the record and say I'm for moms, I'm for America, and I'm especially for Moms for America.
But I am honored to join Moms for America today as we speak out against the horrific mandates.
With a national network of over 500,000 mothers, Moms for America is one of the fastest growing movements of women in the country.
Well, the most dangerous place in all of nature is between a mama bear and her baby cub.
We are the change. No matter what, no matter where, and no matter how difficult the obstacles are that are facing us and our families, we will not give up and we will not give in.
So if not now, then when? If not you, then who?
Welcome to the Momland Revolution.
Every institution today is under attack. The home, the church, the government. And many people are asking, what is the truth? Jesus Christ claimed the ultimate truth. Are you willing to face the truth?
Do you think the MKUltra project ever actually ended?
The Central Intelligence Agency is actively involved in mind manipulation.
We all answer to one God and one Savior, and He's there to change your life for the better.
Freedom, sovereignty, prosperity. The Patriots for Europe Foundation is on a mission to make Europe great again. Globalist elites have led Europe into a dead-end street. Violent crime has surged because of mass immigration. The Green Deal has put the future of the European economy at risk. Fake NGOs and the massive bureaucracy in Brussels are interfering in our democracies. Patriots must take action. We bring analysis, we organize debates, we build the network of patriots to challenge the woke narrative head on. Patriots for Europe Foundation.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Maha Unchained. Please welcome physician Dr. Robert Malone and Epoch Times senior editor Yanya Kellick.
Wow, Dr. Robert Malone, you know, one of the most... Yeah, everybody, bring it up for Dr. Robert Malone. Probably one of the best-known contrarian voices during the COVID pandemic, arguing for rational policy during the pandemic. But I know him best as a rancher of horses and emus.
And welcome my friend Jan Jekielek. You may remember that I spoke about Jan's leadership and the Epoch Times at Cpac 3 years ago. And I think without Cpac, without Epoch Times, we might not be where we are right now. It's been my pleasure to build a friendship with Jan and to participate in his fantastic series, American Thought Leaders, and our little fun series of clips that we called Fallout.
That's right.
So I'm wearing a bow tie today, not my usual attire, in honor of Dr. Peter Hotez. You'll recall that Peter Hotez last December darkly muttered about the fact that as soon as President Trump was in office, there was going to be a series of virus outbreaks, of threatening viral events that were going to cause him a lot of grief, and to focus on responding to those. But instead what we have is two amazing things that happened on the same day.
Well, so who here noticed that the new HHS secretary is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Two things happened that day. First, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was sworn in, and second, there was an executive order signed by President Trump that established a commission to look at child chronic disease. A 1-2 punch that, in our view, is kind of revolutionizing the future of health. Robert?
I agree. So what is this thing, MAHA? Make America Healthy Again. What does that really mean? Those of us that have kind of been in the sausage-making process have a pretty good sense, but let's go to what President Trump has defined as MAHA in this amazing executive order. And what he's laid out, the mission he's laid out for my friend, your friend too, Bobby Kennedy, this amazing new Secretary of HHS that, I mean, can you believe this? He's both a bodybuilder and a biohacker. That's what we have as our secretary. And so what is MAHA? A key factor in this is a refocusing of the entire government health enterprise from a focus on disease treatment to a focus on health promotion. And I really recommend that all of you take a moment to read President Trump's executive order creating the MAHA Commission, which is across government. It even includes Treasury. It's an amazing document in which he talks about the crisis of health in America, the crisis of chronic disease in America, but in particular, it zeroes in on Bobby Kennedy's sweet spot, protecting the health of children in America. It talks about child's health. It talks about the epidemic we have now of all kinds of chronic diseases, including autism in our children. And it talks about the over-medication with Ritalin and all these other drugs. We're basically drugging our children into obedience and oblivion using these agents, getting them to be complacent in the schools so they don't cause trouble, making it easier to control them. That has got to stop. And that is the mission of the Make America Healthy Again movement, is to, within 12 to 18 months, this is the president's mandate, within 12 to 18 months, Bobby Kennedy has got to show measurable improvements in public health for American citizens. Now that is a tall order. And to do that, he's got to let loose, frankly, he's got to let loose the dogs of war. He's got to let loose the whole federal bureaucracy, transform it, and take this new leadership team that he's created under Donald Trump's direction and completely radically transform CDC, FDA, NIH, work with his partners at USDA to enable the health of Americans, and particularly the health of Americans' children.
So, but Bobby Kennedy, okay, Bobby Kennedy did not work alone, okay? And MAHA was actually something that existed in America already. a kind of subculture, one that I didn't even know very much about, that I discovered on American Thought Leaders, throughout COVID. All these people that had been, hit by reality in some way. Maybe they had a child that had been vaccine injured. Maybe they were poisoned by something. And millions and millions of Americans basically were not, many of us were just simply not aware that there was this growing movement of people that were looking at root causes of health. And Bobby was kind of a central figure in this. So him coming in as the HHS secretary, I mean, this is in terms of budget, the largest of the departments.
Yes,
right?
Well, except for defense. But China went through a Maha movement itself at one point in time. Isn't that right? And what happened?
100%. And so this is what dawned on us as we were preparing for this session. Back in the 90s in China, there was the health system had actually collapsed a little bit like what's been happening here. Okay, and these traditional methods of called Qigong, or kind of a Chinese yoga, became incredibly popular in China. The most popular was Falun Gong, and some of you will know that the founders of Epoch Times were Falun Gong practitioners. 70 to 100 million people were getting healthy. Okay, they were getting awards for getting healthy. And what did the regime do in 1999? They decided to crush this health and spiritual movement. So, I mean, this is something that totalitarians do. This is the other part that I realized. Totalitarians do not like healthy people, right? And it's a kind of a mindset. So, here we are.
So, China now is not only crushing its own health promotion movement, but they're promoting bad health in the United States. Talk to us about fentanyl.
Well, so, okay, how many of you noticed that we have a new FBI director? Kash Patel, of course. One of the things that Kash kept talking about as he was going through his nomination hearings, okay, he said 100,000 Americans a year are dying of CCP fentanyl, and that is going to be one of the priorities of the FBI, okay? So that is the Make America Unhealthy Again movement. But we also have to have our own kind of individual agency here. We can't let Kash have to deal with this entire problem, or our foreign policy establishment deal with the entirety of that.
So if we have enough time, we'll talk a little bit about things that can be done about fentanyl. I think it's one of the clear things that HHS can do together in partnership with the other agencies, and particularly the FBI and Kash, to help make America healthy again within measurable responses within 12 to 18 months. But let's talk for a moment about what is public health. We all hear about public health, okay? Today's public health is not about medicine. It's not about the physician-patient relationship. It's not about empowering patients to take control of their own health, which is what we need to do in the day of Maha. What we don't need is top-down management of what you are able to do, what your doctor tells you to do based on the government's mandates and your insurance company's profit. Okay, we have to get back to decentralized health under the control of you, the patient. But what do we have right now in public health? Public health is basically grounded in utilitarianism. It is functionally socialism. It is the logic of the greatest good for the greatest number. That is absolutely the centerpiece of modern public health, and it's based on big data. It's based on big data analysis of what on average is best for you, and then a top-down approach to cause you to comply with what the numbers say under close analysis is best for you. And as a consequence, public health has destroyed the practice of medicine. This is why your docs have no options. They have to treat you based on protocol because that's what public health is saying they have to do. Public health has taken over medicine. And as I say, it is focused on outcomes, optimizing outcomes, the best outcomes for all of us. What it needs to do is focus on opportunity. What we need to do is enable you to have the opportunity to choose whether or not to optimize your own health and have the information to do it. But what we don't need is public health telling us that we can't eat McDonald's hamburgers and drink Coca-Cola. What we need is the information so that you can make an informed decision about what you eat and what you do to manage your health, not to tell you and micromanage you about what your choices have to be.
And the bottom line of this, and think about this, okay? Inalienable individual rights. One of the core things America is based on, a core element of freedom. This approach, this CCP, Chinese Communist Party approach, what happened during COVID? They locked down. They used the totalitarian method. They used the collective rights method. What's apparently going to be better for the greater good. But what happens when you use that collective rights approach? Every time, to paraphrase Stalin here, okay, to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs. And it turns out to be a lot of eggs, unfortunately. So we got to get back to this approach of individual rights, individual agency, and the Hippocratic Oath on the medical side.
So there's an insidious thing that's happened. They've snuck some stuff in while Bobby was busy focused on confirmation. They've snuck in a UN Agenda 2030 item called One Health. Okay? The CDC surreptitiously agreed to the One Health policies of the World Economic Forum and the United Nations and the World Health Organization. What is One Health? Who's against One Health? Of course, we all think that animals should be healthy and the environment should be healthy, just like the Secretary was talking about with U.S. policy. But in One Health, your health is equivalent to the health of animals. Your health is equivalent to the health of a lab rat. And I had somebody post the other day, we put out an essay today about One Health and what it really means, and they said, hey, I'll be glad to sacrifice a lab rat if I can have a focus on my grandmother and improving her standard of living. In One Health, the health of animals and the health of the environment are considered equivalent to the health of humans, and this has now been slipped in this policy that's right up there with the Green New Deal while the new administration was distracted. Something that was in progress for 2-3 years under the Biden administration, they managed to sneak in. They managed to sneak in the new director of pandemic preparedness, a veterinarian who is the associate dean of One Health at Texas A&M, before Bobby even had a chance to sit in the chair. And this is what Bobby really needs your help with. This is what Maha needs your help with, is he is going to be up against an entrenched bureaucracy that is going to fight him tooth and nail every step of the way. And the only way that we're going to be able to get sustainable change is we have to have all of us, the citizens of the United States, saying, we support you, we support a focus on health in Americans, and we are not okay with this globalist agenda of One Health, and we are not okay with the bureaucracy sneaking stuff in behind his back. Now, we only have a little bit of time left, but let's talk a little bit about bird flu.
Well, so how many have noticed egg prices have gone through the roof? How many? Okay, front page of the Epoch Times, okay, the national edition, you should check it out. It's unbelievable, right? But what is the reason? You might think, looking at mainstream media headlines, that it's because bird flu has killed 55 million birds. No, people have killed 55 million birds in an attempt to stop the bird flu, but that's not necessarily the only way to do it.
So bird flu has been around for years. I think this is our 4th episode of fear, of promoted fear about bird flu. And it never materializes, it never transfers into humans so far. Let's hope that continues to be the case. But now, even according to the CDC, bird flu is not a major risk for humans. It doesn't transmit from human to human. It's not putting people in the hospital, and they're not dying at any kind of a rate. Bird flu needs to be controlled, but the policies of the USDA, which now have cost you $1.2 billion, and that's direct costs for the USDA to compensate farmers that have had to kill their flocks, and it's not working. That is the old school way to control outbreaks. But bird flu is in all the birds. It's in migratory waterfowl. We cannot eradicate bird flu. So we got to think of something different instead of this, you know, give a 3-year-old a hammer and everything becomes a nail. That is what USDA bureaucrats keep applying. I argue that instead of vaccinating chickens with a zoetis mismatched leaky bird flu vaccine, heard anything like that before? Say COVID, okay, which will drive the evolution of more vaccine-resistant bird flu strains. We need to rethink this whole strategy. And what I advocate, and I can tell you, I hear rumor that this is being actively considered in the administration right now, and we may hear some announcements about this, is there's going to be a rethinking of how we approach this. And personally, I like the idea that we let loose the chicken industry to breed flu-resistant chickens and turkeys and ducks, rather than trying to jab them all with crummy vaccines or kill them all because they get infected. That's just one example of what can happen if MAHA is unchained.
Well, and everyone, I think we've run out of time here. The bottom line is, let's focus on root causes of health. Keep that in your mind. This is what MAHA is all about, and let's make America healthy again. Thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Cpac straw poll. Please welcome Cpac Chairman Matt Schlapp, and from McLaughlin and Associates, Jim McLaughlin.
This way I can follow him. They gave us chairs. Huh? Not chairs.
All right, Jim, this is your big moment. By the way, do you all know one of the great things? Can we just start off by saying a warm round of applause to the fantastic competence of the Trump for President campaign.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Susie Wiles, Chris LaCivita, Michael Whatley at the RNC. What a difference a campaign can make. And Jim and John McLaughlin on the polling. Thank you, Jim, for your great work.
And you know what? We've been with President Trump from the very beginning. Believe it or not, he talked about running back in 2011. And I can tell you, this campaign was head and shoulders above, better than anything we ever did in the past. And I can't tell you that Matt is exactly right. Susie Wiles, Chris LaCivita, Chairman Whatley, and I don't think I've ever complimented an RNC chairman